and just strafe across, acquiring targets. He's so good against alphas. There's the alpha commander in the distance. Deleted. 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 Dead. Like, another one. Removed. That is insane. How many primary targets just got absolutely mulched by this thing. It is very nice against Terminids. That is a nice TTK on an Alpha Commander.
The Liberator Penetrator performs at its best against Terminids. The brute force of the medium armor pen being focus-fired at such laser precision with such vast amounts of ammo makes it incredibly difficult for Terminids to withstand the hail of destruction. Smallies like the Hunters are obviously nothing to brag about, but when you see how swiftly you can deal with not one, but 2 or 3 Alpha Commanders in quick succession, and then follow it up by dispatching a couple of warriors and or even hive guards, it's really difficult to put this weapon down, and once you have it upgraded, you will struggle, trust me. It even does really respectable work against Charger and Impaler weak spots. The crazy thing is that this isn't even taking into consideration playing optimally with a solid support weapon and loadout. With that in mind, I would recommend taking either the Quasar Cannon to deal with heavy targets such as Bile Titans, or if you don't enjoy the inevitable difficulty you can run into against Bile Spewers, take something else to deal with these. You could throw the Eagle Strafe in if you like. I personally run Quasar with the Gatling Sentry and the usual 500 kg Gas Dog combo for that CC, but you can also run the Rover now that it's fixed, or the Laser Dog. They all work, folks. Really nice loadout. Against Illuminate, it's a similar story. Though not perhaps as impressive as the performance against Terminids, there is still certainly some serious value in taking this weapon fully upgraded into the fray. It can deal with all enemy types fairly effectively, aside from tripods, and to a much lesser degree, Overseers. It takes about a third of a mag to take one of those out and requires decent tracking ability due to the way they shift around. Where it truly shines, though, is its combination with the Firecracker Grenade against large packs and perhaps most impressively, flesh mobs. If you focus fire at a flesh mob's leg and also time your Firecracker throws into their path, you can slow them down enough so that they take a ton of burn damage and the final boom can often take them out. You can also slow them down substantially, making life much easier for you and your teammates to deal with them. My recommended loadout is to take the Lib Pen with the HMG 206 to deal with other scary situations, a Gatling Sentry, a Nuke, and a Gas Dog. Insanely powerful stuff. Obviously, we've got the Leviathan in the mix now as well. If you want to focus on that, I would recommend taking the Emancipator Mech, or try the Spear out now. It's really cracked. In fact, I'll link you a video at the end of this one so you can check out a loadout I've made for that. Against bots, it's still okay, but I would definitely put this at the bottom of the pecking order in terms of performance. The weapon just doesn't have as much prowess as it does against the other two factions. Due to the nature of Devastators and Berserkers, you will find dealing with these much more difficult. The way they are armored, the way that you need to place your shots on their weak spots, it just makes things a little bit too difficult if you ask me, and that isn't to say it isn't doable, but I think you would probably rather take the Plasma Punisher for good crowd control, or just go back to the old faithful Scorcher for more bang for your buck. If you do choose to take it for a spin though, ensure that you take a railgun, a supply pack, and a 500 kg with you. It cannot be understated, folks, just how powerful the railgun is when taking on the oil swillers. The Liberator Carbine is an absolute powerhouse to build your loadout around when dealing with swarming Terminid scum. Do not sleep on this weapon, folks. The impressive precision, incredible fire rate, and subsequent outrageous damage output makes this a superb choice when shredding through swarms of the filthy bug menace. This primary weapon creates the perfect backbone to any loadout setup that is focused on removing swarm threats swiftly and keeping space between your squad and the relentless tide of claws and teeth. Your choice of support weapon matters significantly, as does your choice of playstyle. More on that in a moment, folks. Despite the weapon only being a light pen weapon, it makes incredibly short work of all Terminid swarm threats. 900 RPM is no slouch, and it more than makes up for its lack of medium pen by simply overpowering the target with a rapid hail of bullets. For a start, Smallies, hunters, warriors get melted with these, and it's actually insane how quickly you can clear up a seemingly scary cluster at the drop of a hat. Whether it's tapping well-placed shots or letting rip with either the 45 mag or the dizzying heights of the 60 drum mag, more on that customization later in the video folks, you will be laughing all the way to General Brash's next VIP dinner party. Perhaps most surprising is just how well it can deal with Alpha Commanders and Hive Guards. Alpha Commanders just fold due to the sheer amount of firepower this thing offers. It really is that simple folks, just let rip into their heads and watch them melt rapidly. Hive Guards on the other hand are a little more nuanced than that. You will have no joy shooting their armoured front, instead you need to go for the soft underside, and you can actually take these down from right in front of them if you aim between their little mandibles at the front of their body. This is a great method to get the most mileage out of the carbine. Shriekers and Stalkers also get terrorized, so it's just the usual heavy units causing the problems for us. Bile Spewers, Titans, Chargers and Impalers being the culprits here. With that being said, let's go over a few of the options for the support weapon choice, along with some stratagem picks which take the carbine from a solid pick to a truly S-tier choice against the bugs. The core idea is very simple. Choose a support weapon that can be treated as an extension to your carbine magazine and vice versa. First up, the HMG 206 is an absolutely superb choice with its huge damage output, heavy armor pen, and the ability to rip through pretty much any target in the Terminid arsenal with the right shot placement. Most effective way to implement this technique is to assess the situation before you open fire and choose your weapon to start with. What's going to be the most pressing issue in front of you? If it's a horde of swarm threats, it's usually a good move to start with the carbine for obvious reasons. If you run out of juice, you can simply switch and continue peppering the enemies with the HMG 206. This works incredibly effectively in any situation. Given the fact we're running siege-ready armor, the carbine is also very quick to reload, so you're never far away from being able to back yourself up with this weapon again. For me, softening up the larger enemies like Biles or Chargers with our secondary of choice, the Ultimatum, when you're in a pinch, also works incredibly well with this combination, especially if you manage to crack armor open, because you can finish them off with the HMG very quickly. You can also opt to use this with the Stalwart or the MG42. The Stalwart obviously leaving heavy enemies to be more of a threat. That's why I always choose the MG206. This works particularly well for spear enemies, I do have to say. If MGs are not your style and you are familiar with my love for gas and fire wombo combos and you've watched the previous loadout videos, you will not be surprised to hear that you can also utilize the laser cannon into this loadout, with the added benefit that if you play your cards right, you will never have to reload the laser cannon because you can let it cool down. I actually love to use the carbine with the same fire and gas wombo combo that I use with full laser loadouts, regardless of whether you use the MG or the laser cannon. Before we dive into the rest of the loadout, if you're enjoying the video, and only if you are, do slap that like button and sub to the channel to keep informed. It really helps me out. To maximize this combo, stack gas and fire effects together for the ultimate wombo combo loadout. There are a number of ways you can do this, but I find that my favorite way to achieve this is to utilize the gas dog and the incendiary grenade. I prefer the gas dog over the laser dog simply because it doesn't accidentally attack you and or your teammates. You can get it let loose and it'll often save you from being overwhelmed, from covering swarm threats in noxious fumes, sending them sideways, to sending a charger face planting into walls. It cannot be understated how useful this stratagem is. I find that the incendiary grenade is a really solid choice here to make a blanket of fire in front of bug breaches, which just adds to the overall damage output and compounds the style of destruction that we are using to clean our streets up. To fully lock down a breach and the bug scum, throw a Gatling sentry to really turn the screw on them. The amount of throughput we now have at our disposal is absolutely swarm shattering. Literally, you can solo large breaches on your own with this combination. Just make sure the sentry doesn't swing round and take you out. We will of course be bringing the 500 kg along to use when we're being overwhelmed, or, and this is where its best use is, needing to take out multiple large targets, or baiting a Bile Titan spit and throwing that down so it wipes it out. It's excellent for clearing Biles, Impalers and Chargers. Just make sure you use it selectively and don't get caught out with it on a cooldown. The great thing about the Liberator Carbine is that even though the drum mag is unlocked at 24, an almighty grind to say the least, once you get the recoil and ergonomics under control with the vertical foregrip and the flash hider, you're pretty much set. Obviously, the 60 bullets and a mag is the complete game changer that you're looking for, but this weapon is still highly viable through the leveling process. Don't be put off by this, and do not be put off by the light pen. Give this loadout a try, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Check out this next video. It's got you covered. Take care of yourselves. Keep having fun. Come check out a stream on YouTube or Twitch, and I'll see you in the next one.